My wife showed up drunk to my best friend's bachelor party in lingerie, yelled, "Don't touch me, I am not your property." When I tried to pull her out, so I dumped her on the spot. Now she's crawling back. Sup Reddit. My wife crashed a bachelor party half naked and told me I was only a husband. She was looking for her breakthrough moment. I gave her a breakdown instead. Grab a chair and enjoy the chaos. I, 36 male, work in cybersecurity, spend my free time maintaining a respectable collection of vintage collectibles. Met my wife Callista, 35 female, back in 2016 at some pretentious art gallery opening in Brooklyn. She was doing the whole aspiring actress routine, working the room like she was already famous. I was there because my buddy Coleman dragged me along, promising free refreshments and easy networking. The only thing I networked with was Callista, who cornered me by the canapé table and spent 20 minutes explaining how she was definitely going to be the next big thing. Here's what you need to understand about Callista. She didn't just want to be an actress. She needed everyone to know she was an actress. Community theater? She'd mention it 3 times in one conversation. Extra work on some indie film that went straight to streaming? You'd think she co-starred with Tom Cruise. Her friends swore she looked like Meghan Markle, which is code for mediocre actress, elite-level audition for sainthood. We got married in October 2018. Small ceremony. Her friends showed up dressed like they were attending the Oscars. My friends showed up in suits they bought specifically for my wedding. It was perfect. For about 6 months. Then reality hit. She auditioned nonstop and booked almost nothing. Instead of adjusting her expectations or developing actual skills, she doubled down on the fantasy. And I was the guy funding it. Classes, headshots, professional makeup she needed for auditions. The whole Future Star starter pack. I kept paying because I thought that's what loyalty looked like. Somewhere around 2022, I stopped believing in her dream. I just kept financing it. Her friends Sabine and Paloma didn't help. Both single, both equally delusional about their acting careers, both convinced that marriage was somehow holding Callista back from really committing to her craft. Yeah, marriage to the guy paying all her bills was definitely the problem. They'd have these get-togethers, on my dime, where they'd reinforce each other's worst ideas and talk about disrupting the industry like they were tech entrepreneurs, instead of unemployed actresses hoping for their next background role. The breaking point started creeping in around early 2023. My career exploded, got promoted to senior analyst, started leading a team, salary basically doubled. Meanwhile, Callista was still auditioning for the same student films and unpaid theater gigs she'd been chasing for 5 years. The resentment became impossible to ignore. Then March rolled around, and my best friend Coleman announced he was getting married. About 2 weeks before the bachelor party, Callista started acting weird. She kept talking about needing to do something bold for her career, how she was tired of waiting for opportunities to come to her. That Tuesday, she'd gotten a rejection email from some casting director she'd been chasing for months. Not even a callback, just a form letter thanking her for her time. She spent the entire night crying in the bathroom. Sabine and Paloma came over to support her. I could hear them through the door, telling her she was too talented to keep getting overlooked, that she needed to make people pay attention, that conventional routes weren't working, so maybe she needed to try something unexpected. The Thursday before the party, I came home to find Callista, Sabine, and Paloma in our living room, laptops out, giggling like teenagers plotting something stupid. They immediately closed everything when I walked in. The energy shifted from excited to defensive in about half a second. Planning something? I asked. Just working on Callista's social media presence, Sabine said with this smug smile. She needs to be more visible if she wants to get noticed. I didn't think much of it. Callista was always trying some new strategy to jumpstart her non-existent career. Friday night, I was packing for the bachelor party weekend. Callista was on the couch with her phone, barely acknowledging my existence. I'm leaving around 8 tomorrow morning, I told her. Should be back Sunday afternoon. Mm-hmm, she said, not looking up. You good here by yourself? I'm always good by myself. Some of us don't need constant supervision. There it was. The resentment, sharp and immediate. I'd gotten used to it, but it still landed every time. Okay then, I'll text you when I get there. Saturday morning, I drove upstate with Merrick and Chris, 2 other guys from Coleman's circle. The drive up was smooth. Merrick and Chris were arguing about whether the Bears had any chance this season. They didn't. And I was just enjoying not thinking about Callista for a few hours. I'd turned off my phone notifications. This was Coleman's weekend, and I was determined to be present for it. We got to the house around 11. The place was stunning. Coleman had spared no expense, and it showed. He greeted us at the door already holding a drink, grinning like an idiot. Gentlemen, Welcome to my last weekend of freedom. Everyone cheered. Someone handed me a drink. The poker table was already set up with professional chips, dealer button, the works. Coleman had even hired a guy to cater, some chef from the city who apparently owed him a favor. Everything was going great. We played poker all afternoon. Coleman was up about $300 and talking endless trash. I was down 50 and didn't care. The conversation was exactly what it should have been. Roasting each other, telling stories about Coleman's dating disasters before he met Anya. Speculation about married life. Harlan was there, already amped up by early afternoon. He was that guy. The one who peaked in college and never quite figured out how to be an adult. Loud, obnoxious, always pushing boundaries. But he was Coleman's friend from way back, so we tolerated him. Around 9 p.m., we fired up the grill. Steaks, lobster tails, the works. The chef Coleman hired had everything perfectly timed. Everyone was in that perfect zone of full but not sluggish. Someone put on music. A few guys were on the deck smoking cigars. It was exactly the kind of low-key, high-quality celebration Coleman wanted. That's when Coleman's phone started blowing up. "What the heck?" he said, staring at his screen. "Someone's at the door?" We could hear knocking. Loud, insistent knocking. Merrick went to check it out. He came back 30 seconds later with the most confused expression I've ever seen. Troy, your wife is here." My brain stuttered. "What?" "Callista. She's at the front door. With 2 other women. They're all dressed like—" He stopped himself. I walked to the front door. There she was. Callista. With Sabine and Paloma. All 3 of them wearing what can only be described as lingerie masquerading as outfits. Callista had on this barely there red bodysuit that left nothing to the imagination. Sabine and Paloma were similarly underdressed. Black lace, see-through panels, all 3 in heels they could barely walk in. Callista came in hot, already loose and loud, like she'd been pre-gaming her courage. Too much volume, slurring slightly, that sloppy confidence you get when you've had just enough to stop second-guessing yourself. She was touching the doorframe for balance, pupils dilated, makeup smeared at the edges. Sabine and Paloma? Stone-cold sober. They weren't wobbling. Eyes sharp, phones already up, filming with that creepy producer focus like they were running a shoot. They'd positioned themselves for the best angles before Callista even started talking. "Surprise!" Callista said, voice pitching up with manic energy. She had a microphone, an actual wireless microphone, in her hand. "We heard there was a bachelor party and thought we'd provide some entertainment." Sabine was recording everything, adjusting her angle. Paloma was whispering instructions to Callista while keeping her camera steady. "Callista, what the heck are you doing?" I said, keeping my voice low. "What does it look like?" She pushed past me into the house, unsteady but committed. "Hands off. You're not my owner, just my husband." "Only a husband?" "Yeah, that's about to change real fast." Coleman was already moving. He stepped directly into Callista's path, hand up. "No, not here, not tonight." "Coleman, come on." I said no. His voice was firm. Not yelling, but absolute. "This is my bachelor party. You weren't invited. You need to leave." He looked at the other guys. Phones away, now. A few guys who'd started recording put their phones down. Most were just staring, trying to figure out what the heck was happening. Callista tried to push past Coleman anyway. "You don't understand. I need this. I need people to see." "Troy," Coleman said, looking at me. "What do you want to do?" "We're leaving," I said to Callista. "Now." She pulled her hand away from me. "Don't touch me. This is my moment." "Your moment?" I said. "Callista, you're half naked at my best friend's bachelor party, offering to strip for a room full of men. This isn't a moment. This is a breakdown. You don't understand. You never understand. I need exposure. I need people to see what I can do." Harlan, who'd been watching the whole thing with this stupid grin, stumbled over. "Come on, man. Let her perform. We're all adults here." Coleman stepped between us. "Harlan, shut up." Before Coleman could do anything else, Harlan grabbed Callista's waist. "Come on, sweetheart. Show us what you got." I didn't think. I just moved. My foot connected with Harlan's face so hard I heard something crack. He went down like a sack of bricks, blood pouring from his nose. The room erupted. Guys were yelling. Someone was calling Harlan's name. Sabine and Paloma were screaming, but they were still recording, phones up, capturing everything. Callista was still holding that microphone, swaying, staring at me like I was the one who'd done something wrong. She looked confused, like the plan was supposed to go differently. Coleman was helping Harlan up, but he looked at me with this expression that said he got it, that he understood why I did it. Then someone said the words that made everything worse. I already called 911. The cops showed up about 10 minutes later. 2 patrol cars, 4 officers. By that point, Harlan was sitting on the couch with a towel pressed to his face, still bleeding. Callista and her crew were standing in the corner. Everyone else was trying to explain what happened all at once. One of the cops, older guy, looked tired, separated me from the group. You want to explain what happened here? That guy grabbed my wife without her consent. I reacted. By kicking him in the face? Yeah. He looked over at Harlan, then at Callista in her ridiculous outfit, then back at me. That your wife? For now, he sighed. Wrote something in his notebook. Look, I get it. But there's blood, there's witnesses, and technically that's assault. I gotta take you in. Coleman tried to step in. Officer, Harlan initiated physical contact. Troy was defending. I understand, the cop said. But that's for the DA to sort out. Right now, I've got a guy with a broken nose and another guy who admits to kicking him. That's enough for me to make an arrest. They cuffed me. Right there in front of everyone. Read me my rights. The whole production. Coleman looked like he wanted to argue more, but I just shook my head at him. It's fine, I said. Just make sure they leave. They're already gone, Coleman said. I'm calling you a lawyer first thing tomorrow. The holding cell was exactly what you'd expect. Cold metal bench, fluorescent lights that never turned off, smell of industrial cleaner, and something I didn't want to identify. There were 2 other guys in there. One passed out in the corner, another just staring at the wall. They processed me through intake around midnight. Fingerprints, mugshot, the whole degrading ritual. Then back to the cell. The light stayed on, always on. You lose track of time fast when there's no day or night, just that constant fluorescent hum. I didn't sleep, couldn't sleep. My mind was going through everything that had just happened on a loop. But somewhere between the breakfast tray and the endless fluorescent glare, something shifted. The exhaustion and hunger stripped away everything except one cold, clear truth. I was done negotiating with people who treated me like collateral damage in their own stupid plans. Late afternoon the next day, had to be at least 16, maybe 18 hours after they brought me in, a different cop came by. Troy? Yeah. Your lawyer posted bail. You're free to go. Court date's in 3 weeks. I walked out into the late daylight. Coleman was waiting in his car in the parking lot. Get in, he said. We didn't talk much on the drive back to the house. He told me he'd called his family's lawyer, that Harlan had declined to press charges once he realized he'd started the physical contact, that the ADA saw the witness statements and offered disorderly conduct, which would likely get dismissed entirely. The lawyer was confident. Thanks, I said. Don't thank me. You shouldn't have been arrested in the first place. When we got back to the house, my car was still there. So were my bags. Coleman had packed everything up for me. I got in my car. Started the 2-hour drive back to the city. My hands were shaking on the steering wheel. Not from fear or regret. Just the adrenaline and exhaustion finally crashing out of my system. I hadn't really eaten since Saturday dinner. Hadn't slept in over 30 hours. My body felt like it was running on fumes and rage. I pulled over at a rest stop about halfway home. Got coffee and a breakfast sandwich I barely tasted. Sat in my car for 20 minutes. Just breathing. Letting my heart rate come back down. After a full night in county over her stunt and his groping, I stopped negotiating with reality. By the time I got back on the road, I knew exactly what needed to happen next. I got home around 7 p.m. First thing I did was call my lawyer. Left a voicemail explaining I needed to file for divorce immediately and that we had a prenup that needed to be enforced. I was calm. Gave him all the relevant details. Second thing I did was lock down my side of the financial mess before it turned into a hostage situation. I reset passwords where I was allowed to, set up new ones with 2-factor authentication, and made sure nothing could get quietly drained overnight. On the joint checking account, I moved exactly half into a separate account in my name, left the rest untouched for bills, and logged every cent like I was building a case file. Screenshots, timestamps, confirmation emails, the whole boring digital paper trail. If a judge ever asked why, the answer was simple. I wasn't hiding money. I was preventing a midnight wipeout while the divorce got filed. Third thing I did was pack all of Callista's belongings. Stuffed it all into garbage bags and boxes. Took me about an hour. While I was packing, I found her journal. Just sitting there on her nightstand, not even hidden. I opened it and man, it was basically a shrine to her own desperation. Weeks of entries where she's hyping herself up like she's already famous. Writing out little plans with Sabine and Paloma like they're running a studio instead of 3 unemployed theater kids. She'd scribbled stuff like, "This is how you get noticed. Bold girls win. I'm not waiting anymore." Whole pages about how crashing a bachelor party half-naked was going to be her breakthrough moment. Not because she had talent lined up, because she thought chaos was a shortcut. She even had cringe little rehearsal notes, like, smile when I walk in, own the room, don't let Troy ruin the vibe. If they laugh, that's good. If they stare, that's better. She wrote about viral energy, the way broke guys talk about crypto. Just pure fantasy dressed up as strategy. And of course, I'm the villain in her head. Entry after entry about how I'm safe and small-minded and don't get what artists have to do. Meanwhile, I'm the one paying for her classes, her headshots, her whole cosplay of being the next big thing. She wasn't planning a career move. She was planning a tantrum with lighting and a soundtrack. I took photos of the pages that mattered, then put the journal back in her box. Let her keep her little manifesto. She's gonna need something to reread when she's explaining to people how this was all misunderstood art. I was finishing up when I heard her car pull up outside. It was around 10 p.m. She stumbled in through the front door, still wearing that ridiculous outfit, Sabine and Paloma trailing behind her. Callista still looked out of it, not falling down, but that exhausted, coming down kind where reality starts creeping back in. Sabine and Paloma looked tired but clear-eyed, all three of them clearly thinking they'd just had the adventure of a lifetime. They stopped when they saw the bags. "Troy," Callista said, her brain struggling to process what she was seeing. "What are you doing? What does it look like? I'm kicking you out." "You can't kick me out. This is my home too." Her voice went shrill. "We're separated as of last night. My lawyer told me to make that clear. This situation needs to not turn physical. So you're leaving." Sabine stepped forward. "She wasn't offering sexual services. She was performing. There's a difference." "Oh, really? What exactly do you call a lap dance for money?" "It was art," Paloma chimed in. "You wouldn't understand because you don't have a creative bone in your body." I ignored them and looked at Callista. "You want to explain what you were thinking? Or should I guess?" She looked genuinely shocked. "You're being ridiculous. I was trying to help my career, to make something of myself." "Help your career? Callista, you crashed a private party dressed like a stripper and offered to perform for a room full of men? That's not building a career. That's prostitution with extra steps. That's not fair. You know I've always wanted to be a star, but you took that from me. You and your stupid stable job and your stupid need for me to be some boring housewife. My passion, my dreams, you suffocated all of it." I laughed. Actually laughed. "I took that from you? Callista, I've paid for everything. Your acting classes, $800 a month, your headshots, your makeup, your entire life for 3 years, while you chased a dream you don't have the talent to achieve. The only thing I took from you was the delusion that you were going to make it." "You're a jerk!" she screamed. Sabine and Paloma were nodding along, their own faces twisted with indignation. "And you're out." I started carrying her bags outside. It was about 40 degrees and she was still dressed in basically nothing. The street was empty, quiet except for the sound of me dropping garbage bags full of her belongings onto the sidewalk. "Wait, I need to get my clothes. It's freezing. You should have thought about that before you decided to dress like a stripper at a bachelor party." Sabine tried to get involved. "You can't just throw her out in the middle of the night. This is abuse. Watch me." I threw the last bag onto the sidewalk. "Oh, and Callista, I didn't know you wanted to be a porn star. If I'd known that was the plan, I would have saved myself 3 years and you could have just filmed in the bedroom. It would have saved me about 50 grand in acting classes too." She started crying. Real tears this time. "Troy, please, I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking. I just wanted to feel like I mattered, like I was special." "Okay, you're sorry. Got it. Anything else? Please." She was full-on sobbing now, hands shaking. She went on about how everyone hates her now. Her friends all cut her off after the police report. They didn't want to get dragged into it, didn't want to risk being associated with it. Sabine blocked her number. Paloma told her she's toxic and to never contact her again. They're scared the assault charges will blow back on them somehow. She tried to explain, tried to tell them it wasn't her fault, but they don't care. They just want distance. She wiped her nose with her sleeve. Pathetic. Paloma stepped forward, trying to look threatening despite being about 5 feet 3 inches in heels. "You're going to regret this. We'll make sure everyone knows what kind of person you really are." "Go ahead," I said. That's when Sabine decided she was going to be a hero. She charged at me, all 120 pounds of righteous fury in a tube top. I sidestepped her. She was moving too fast in those heels on cold pavement. Her ankle rolled and she went down hard, arms flailing as she tried to catch herself. She crashed face first into Paloma, who'd been standing right behind her. Both of them went down in a tangle of limbs and cheap lingerie. "Oh my God! Get off me!" Paloma was shoving at Sabine, who was trying to get her footing on the concrete. "I'm trying!" Sabine yelled back, her heel broken, trying to push herself up. Callista just stood there frozen, mascara running down her face, watching her backup squad eat pavement in front of my building. I couldn't help it. I laughed. Not a polite chuckle, a full belly laugh. "You ladies need a minute?" I asked. "Or should I call an Uber? Maybe get you some Band-Aids?" Paloma finally shoved Sabine off and scrambled to her feet, one heel broken, hair looking like she'd been through a wind tunnel. "This isn't over." "Yeah, it is, and you lost." I went back inside and locked the door. Deadbolt, chain, everything. I could hear Callista outside for about 5 minutes, pounding on the door, crying, begging. Then Sabine's voice, sharp and angry, telling her they needed to leave. Then a car started, Paloma's probably, and they drove away. Then my phone buzzed. Text from Harlan. I knew before I opened it that I didn't want to see what was on there. 10 seconds. That's all it was. Callista, giving Harlan a lap dance. Full contact. His hands on her hips while she grinded on him. Other guys cheering in the background. The timestamp showed it was at some bar downtown. They'd left the party and kept going. Then the text came through. "Your wife knows how to party, bro. Thanks for the entertainment." That's when something clicked in my brain. Harlan wanted to humiliate me. Sent me proof of it like it was a trophy. Like he'd won something. He had no idea what he'd just handed me. Second text from Harlan. "She's a natural. Should have seen the encore." Third text. "Don't worry. What happens at bachelor parties stays at bachelor parties LMAO." Sunday morning, I woke up with absolute clarity. Harlan had given me everything I needed to destroy him. First order of business, Harlan. I didn't need access to company servers. I didn't need to play keyboard Batman. Harlan handed me everything I needed the moment he texted me that video, like it was a win. Started with some basic research. Social media, LinkedIn, mutual friends. Harlan worked in commercial real estate. One of those guys who's all about his professional image and building relationships. Had his face plastered all over his company's website. Top producer 3 years running. The kind of job where reputation is everything. Also had a girlfriend. Serious girlfriend. Found her Instagram in about 30 seconds. Hadley. Posted about their 3-year anniversary 2 months ago. Lots of couple photos. Comments about my forever person, and can't wait to marry this man. Recent posts showed ring shopping hints and venue tours. They were clearly about to get engaged. Harlan had tagged her in a post from the bachelor party. "Boys' night with my crew. Love you, babe. See you tomorrow." Yeah, about that. Hadley deserved to know who she was planning to marry. Harlan's company deserved to know what kind of liability they had on payroll. Not my job to interpret it for them. Just my job to make sure they had the facts. Monday evening, I sent an email. Kept it simple. "Hadley, I was at the bachelor party this weekend. I think you should see this before you make any long-term decisions." The video and messages are from Harlan's phone. Attached the video. Attached screenshots of Harlan's text to me. That's it. No accusations, no commentary, no drama, just facts. Let her draw her own conclusions. Didn't expect a response. Tuesday morning, she wrote back, "Thank you for sending me this. I'm sorry about your wife. No one deserves that. Harlan tried to tell me you were lying, that you edited the video or made it all up because you were jealous. Then I talked to 3 other guys who were at that party. They all confirmed it happened exactly like the video shows. We were going ring shopping next month. I was about to marry someone I clearly didn't know at all. He's been lying to me about who he really is for 3 years. I can't believe I almost committed my life to this. Thank you for showing me the truth before I made the biggest mistake of my life. You saved me from something I would have regretted forever." Tuesday, I handled the workplace situation. Harlan's company had an anonymous ethics reporting line on their website. I'd found it during my research. Kept the report clinical. Employee Harlan was recorded on video engaging in physical contact of a sexual nature with an individual at a private event. Employee subsequently distributed this video to others via text message with commentary. Evidence attached. Documenting in case of future liability. Attach the video. Attach the texts. Nothing else. No accusations of harassment, no demands for action, no emotional language. Just, here's what happened. Here's the proof. Here's your liability exposure. HR doesn't need you to explain why something's bad. They just need to know it exists and that it's documented. 2 days later, Harlan was on leave pending review. Found that out through the company grapevine. Mutual connections on LinkedIn started noticing his sudden radio silence. Turns out this wasn't Harlan's first HR problem. He'd had a warning 6 months earlier for inappropriate comments to a junior associate. My evidence just became the final nail in a coffin HR had been building for a while. They couldn't sweep this one under the rug. Wednesday afternoon, Coleman called. I picked up this time. Troy, man. I don't even know what to say. Then don't say anything. I kicked Harlan out of the wedding party. Told him he's not welcome at the wedding. What he did, sending you that video, those texts, that's not okay. That's not what a friend does. Appreciate you cutting him off. He's been calling me nonstop, trying to get me to smooth things over with you. Said you're overreacting. I told him to lose my number. He took your wife to a bar after everything went down and kept filming like it was content. That's sociopath behavior. I didn't respond right away. Coleman had shut the whole thing down at his house the moment I left. He'd done what he could. This was on Harlan and Callista. Good to know where you stand. Always, man. Just let me know if you need anything. I hung up. Thursday, things got interesting. Harlan called me. I didn't pick up. He left a voicemail, voice shaking. Dude, you need to call me back. I don't know what the heck you said to Hadley, but she dumped me. She's saying I cheated, that I'm a predator, all this crazy stuff. And now my boss is asking me questions about some video. This is messed up, man. You need to fix this. Call me back. I deleted the voicemail. Didn't fix anything. Just let reality do its thing. Friday, Harlan called again. Left another voicemail, this time crying, Troy, please, I lost my job. Hadley won't talk to me. My boss said the company was moving on, and I wasn't a fit for the brand anymore. This is ruining my life. Please, man. You gotta help me. Tell them it was a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding. Right. Like accidentally sending your friend a video of you groping his wife and then bragging about it is a misunderstanding. I blocked his number. The fallout didn't need me to babysit it. Once the clips hit the right inboxes, everything started collapsing under its own weight. By Monday night, Hadley had dumped Harlan. Harlan tried spinning some story about me being vindictive, about editing footage, about how it was all a joke. Didn't matter. She'd already confirmed it with witnesses. Harlan tried to play it off at work, like it was just a dumb party moment. Didn't matter. HR already had the video and his texts attached with timestamps and context. He was put on leave pending review within 2 days. Apparently, this wasn't Harlan's first HR problem. He'd had a warning 6 months back for inappropriate comments to a junior associate. My evidence just became the final nail in a coffin HR had been building for a while. By the end of the week, he was out. The company's moving on, and you're not a fit for the brand, was the official line. Translation: we can't have this guy representing us when clients Google his name and find this. Harlan was kicked out of the wedding party, uninvited from the wedding, and basically voted off the island by the entire friend group. Turns out even guys who tolerate a lot have a line they don't want their name associated with. When Harlan tried showing up at Coleman's place to talk it out, Coleman told him to leave and not come back. Harlan was done. The day after the party, Anya, Coleman's fiancée, went to confront Callista and her 2 actress friends at their apartment, wanted to tell them exactly what they'd done, how they showed up to seduce her soon-to-be husband, Coleman. The 3 of them ganged up on her instead, started screaming at her to mind her own business. When Anya tried to leave, Sabine shoved her into a wall. Paloma grabbed her arm hard enough to leave bruises. Callista just stood there and watched it happen. Anya filed a police report that same day. Had photos of the bruises, security footage that showed exactly who put hands on who first. The DA's office offered all 3 of them plea deals. Video evidence plus witnesses plus visible injuries meant they had no leverage to fight it. Sabine and Paloma each took misdemeanor assault charges, probation, and fines. Callista got dragged into it too as an accomplice, since she was present and didn't intervene. All 3 of them now had assault charges on their records. Good luck booking acting gigs with that showing up on background checks. My lawyer served Callista divorce papers that same week. She tried the prenup duress angle like I knew she would. Her lawyer shut that down in about 48 hours. Told her straight up she had no case, that the prenup was airtight, that fighting it would just cost her money she didn't have. She signed 3 weeks later. Clean, quick, nothing for her to fight over except the consequences she'd already earned. The prenup was enforced exactly as written. She got back what she'd brought into the marriage, which was basically her car and her delusions. I kept the apartment, the savings, everything I'd built while she was off pursuing her career. She moved out within a week of signing. Heard she went back to Ohio to live with her parents. The criminal charge against me? Coleman's family lawyer handled it like I knew he would. 5 witness statements, all confirming Harlan had initiated unwanted physical contact with Callista. Video evidence showing the exact sequence of events. The DA reduced it to disorderly conduct, which got dismissed entirely, after I completed a one-day anger management course. My record stayed clean. That was the week in a nutshell. Harlan's life detonated on contact with daylight, Callista's stunt finished her marriage and got her criminal charges, and her little hype squad discovered that assault convictions don't look great on actor resumes. The dominoes fell exactly like they were supposed to. I didn't have to push them, just had to make sure the right people knew what happened. 2 months after the divorce was finalized, there was a knock on my apartment door. Late evening, unexpected. I looked through the peephole. Callista. She looked rough. No makeup, hair thrown back in a messy ponytail, wearing sweatpants and a hoodie that had seen better days. She'd lost weight, not in a healthy way. In that, I've been crying for weeks and forgetting to eat way. I opened the door but didn't invite her in. Just stood there in the doorway, one hand on the frame. Troy, please, can we just talk? Nothing to talk about. We're divorced. You signed the papers, move on. I know I messed up. I know I did. But we can work through this. People get past things like this all the time. I'll get help. I'll stop trying to act. I'll be better. I'll be whatever you need me to be. I actually laughed. Couldn't help it. Callista tried to explain herself. Said Harlan kept pushing. The guys kept encouraging it. She didn't know what to do. I cut her off. Told her she chose to stay, chose to dance, chose to grind on him while everyone watched and filmed it. Those were her choices. Nobody forced her. Her face crumpled. The tears started flowing for real now. I don't know what I was thinking. I thought it would be fun. I thought it would make me feel good about myself. I didn't think about you. I should have. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, you're sorry. Got it. Anything else? Please. She was full-on sobbing now, hands shaking. She went on about how everyone hates her now. Her friends all cut her off after the police report. They didn't want to get dragged into it. Didn't want to risk being associated with it. Sabine blocked her number. Paloma told her she's toxic and to never contact her again. They're scared the assault charges will blow back on them somehow. She tried to explain, tried to tell them it wasn't her fault, but they don't care. They just want distance. She wiped her nose with her sleeve. Pathetic. Told me her agent dropped her. Nobody will hire her. Her parents are disappointed in her. They tell her every single day how much she screwed up her life. She doesn't have anyone. She doesn't have anything. She's working at a coffee shop in Ohio, making minimum wage. She can't even afford her own apartment. She's living in her childhood bedroom like she's 16 again. Sounds rough. Troy, I'm drowning. The girls caught assault charges and I'm stuck back home with nothing. I threw away the best thing in my life for one stupid night. Please, I need your help. Just temporarily. Just enough to get back on my feet. Maybe you could send me some money? Just until I get settled? I'll pay you back, I promise. I stared at her for a long moment. Let her stand there with her tears and her desperate, pathetic pitch. Let her feel exactly how little her words meant to me now. What about everything I sacrificed for you? She tried again, voice breaking. Callista, let's be really clear about something. You didn't sacrifice anything for me. I thought you loved me, she whispered. I did. Then you showed me exactly who you are. And I believe you. She started to say something else. I didn't let her. You made your choices, Callista. You chose to humiliate me. You chose to throw away our marriage for attention. You chose your delusional acting career over basic respect. And now you're dealing with the consequences of those choices. That's not my problem anymore. But I don't care what you need. You don't get to show up here 2 months after our divorce begging for money like I'm some kind of backup plan. You're not my wife. You're not my problem. You're nothing to me. Her face went pale, like the reality of it was finally hitting her. Go home, Callista. Go back to Ohio. Work your coffee shop job. Live in your childhood bedroom. Figure out your life on your own. Because I'm done. I stepped back and closed the door. Locked it. She stood outside for a few minutes. I could hear her crying through the door. Eventually, she knocked again. Soft, pathetic little knocks. I didn't answer. Eventually, she left. I went back to my couch, picked up my drink, and put on a game. Didn't think about her again that night. She'd made her choices. Now she got to live with them. And me? I got my life back. That was enough. Guys, we are so close to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps hit that 100,000 mark.